All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to talk about DeFi yield farming and how I really don't think it's going to last that long. Now, I think you're going to be able to DeFi yield farm for quite some time into the future, and I think DeFi itself is here to stay and going to be around forever. Now, what it's going to evolve into in the future is anybody's guess, because after all, this is the world of crypto. Is it going to last forever? Is it going to change into something else? I really don't know, but there's a huge fad going on, and again, that is the DeFi yield farming. You've probably been hearing about it en masse for the past 2 weeks or so, even though DeFi has been around for quite a while. But there's this new system that is sort of developed, and it's sort of like proof of stake. And I'll get into that in a moment. And I think DeFi yield farming is slightly similar to proof of work. Now, proof of work obviously isn't dead. There's, of course, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and many, many other coins that still obviously have miners to this day. But what we all know, if you've been around since at least 2017, that the gains from running your GPUs or your ASICs or something like that has long since died, and the main miners that are still around are the ones that have a big warehouse filled with them. As if you're only making a few dollars a day, that's for an ASIC, for running a 1,000-watt ASIC, it's not really all that worth your time at home. But if you have 10,000 of them, well, that's a totally different story. So the whole GPU mining thing kind of died out. Remember back in the day, just a few years ago, there was a new coin out all the time, and you would just be able to switch your GPUs and get huge profits, and then that died out pretty quick. Why did that die out pretty quick? Well, a number of things. The crypto market crashed, and another thing is that too many people got in on a good thing, and that's sort of ironic because we wanted more crypto users. But when too many people take that nice little scenic route to work that goes by that jammed highway, well, now that scenic route is jammed as well, and too many people on any good thing is a bad thing. That nice little hole in the wall restaurant that you love so much, well, everybody else found out about it, and now you can't get in when you want either. So just because it's a good thing doesn't necessarily mean it's going to remain a good thing. So what is DeFi yield farming? It's basically DeFi, but now there's a farming aspect to it. And again, it's sort of like proof of stake. So Compound tokens release about 2,800 some odd tokens per day, and that's based on how much you're investing in the platform. So Compound Finance, and if you click on the app, you can start to see what the supply and borrow rates are. So if I had basic attention tokens and BAT, I could put it on here and get 13.58% APY. But again, that's not going to last forever. We're going to get on that too. After the reason why these rates are so incredibly high right now is that there's just not a lot of people in on it. And then once so many people get in on it, that rate has to go down eventually. It's going to be like when you were getting $10 a day for your 1080 Ti, and then 100 more people start mining, and now you got $9, and then 100 and 1,000 and tens of thousands of people get mining, and now that's split, and all those rewards are split between everybody. And now today, when you fire up that 1080 Ti on Zcash, you're making like 50 cents a day. So you can basically hook up a Coinbase wallet or a Ledger or your MetaMask, etc., to this and put funds on this. So not only are you going to get 13.58% APY for your BAT or 0% for your Ethereum, because nobody wants that apparently right now, which is really strange. And if you borrow, the rates are pretty high as well. But no matter if you borrow or if you supply the coin, you also get Compound Token. Now, Compound Token came out literally just a couple weeks ago. It started at about $80, went up to $300 right off the bat, and is now kind of declining, but a little too early to say what the future is exactly. But let me just say, this price discovery mode, if you want to say that right now, it's just not going to last forever. It's going to go down in price. There's just going to be too many people on it, and I wonder the validity of all this. But again, so 2,800 and some odd Compound tokens are released per day, and it's sort of like proof of stake. The more you have invested on the platform, the more Compound tokens that you're going to get. And that's just like proof of stake, that if you have, 100 proof of stake coins, you're going to get a few coins a day. But if you had 10,000 proof of, coins in your proof of stake wallet, you're going to get much more. It's just the same thing. So hence the term farming on the yield farming. Also, you're trying to, get the best APY rates possible, the best interest rates possible. You can go on other websites and other DeFi platforms and perhaps put up some collateral and borrow something for really cheap. Like you could borrow Ethereum on another platform if they were at 2%, and then you could take that Ethereum and maybe switch it to BAT, and yet you're still owing it on that other platform, the APY to them, but you could switch it to BAT on some exchange or something like that, and then put it on here and get a much higher interest rate. So you're essentially farming interest rates, and at the same time, you're farming for their platform token. Another platform token is like Synthetics here. And that's sort of going through the roof. It's been around for quite some time, but it's starting to go through the roof with all the DeFi farming as well. What I just want to say to you guys is that I don't think these APY rates are going to last forever. It's really not going, there's just no way. Because in order to give you such a high rate, you're going to have to take a higher rate from other people. So no, again, it's just like mining. If there's a lot of people on it, those rewards are going to get split. And the same thing with the compound tokens. Right now, you might be getting a lot of them for putting in $1,000 or $10,000 worth of crypto, but after a while, you're going to get essentially breadcrumbs, just like you get with proof of stake now, or like if you go to try to mine Zcash or something like that, you're just not going to get that much. And mainly that's the price decrease. And there's a lot of things that affect that as well. But let me just show you the interest rate on this. For a while, right when it came out, the interest rates were pretty much zero. And it just instantly spiked to 27% interest rate on your BAT tokens, which is just absolutely outrageous. And we all know, we should all know this by now, that these schemes like this that give you such an incredible interest rate, and you're like, well, the banks are only giving me a 2% interest rate for my savings. Well, I'm not arguing you go and put all your money into a savings account with a bank, because yeah, they're totally screwing you. But if they were any higher, if banks were giving you 10 or 27% interest rate, that has to come from somewhere. Your interest rate gains are somebody else's losses when they take out a loan with the bank. In order for you to get 27% interest rate on your money in a savings account, you're going to have to pay 33% on a loan to take that out. So again, this isn't magic. This is basic math that it cannot last forever. And I hate to bash it, because I think DeFi is great. I like that we are taking our money in our own hands. I love the crypto world, but I am sort of that YouTuber that is the voice of reason, and it's not going to last forever. Now, I'm not saying this is a scam in any way, shape, or form. These interest rates are real, and you can put your money on here and you can watch it grow in real time. But if the interest rates dip any lower than this, to 2 or 3%, these are pretty reasonable rate interests, like 2.78 or 2%, 1% here. Those are reasonable rates. Now, they might not sound so, because you can see these gigantic 13%, and it was 27%, but it already bombed. With the popularity already happening, it's bombed. So you're getting 13%, but other people are paying 33% interest rate, and that is where it's coming from. You are taking other people's money by putting it on here. So there's just no way it can last forever. So let's read an article, maybe get a little bit better idea. So DeFi is an umbrella term referring to the interrelatedness of different crypto assets, decentralized apps, smart protocols, etc., most of which are built on the Ethereum platform. The decentralized finance ecosystem is one of the fastest growing sectors that continues to attract new users and investment. So again, I don't think this is going to end anytime soon. I'm not trying to, say that there's a storm a-coming or anything like that. But again, don't get your hopes up when these interest rates, when you take all the time to transfer your coin into BAT so that you can put it on here, and then the next day, I was actually looking at this about 1 or 2 days ago, when this was 25%, and I was thinking, oh man, I should put some BAT on here and just let it sit. But a couple days later, it's already at 13%. It might shoot back up. But I think eventually, a year down the line or something like that, it's just not gonna it's not gonna last. It's kind of like BitConnect, and I don't mean to make that correlation, because BitConnect was an outright scam. But the idea was with BitConnect is that you're supposed to lock up your money for like 400 or 500 days, and you get an extra interest rate for doing that. So you have $10,000 worth of Bitcoin locked up, or BitConnect locked up on BitConnect. But the problem is that the platform went down in a year. So you never actually got to that point where you could actually withdraw your principal. Now, on this platform, you can withdraw at any time, and that's sort of why it's DeFi yield farming, because not only are you getting compound tokens in a proof of stake manner by putting liquidity on here, or borrowing or supplying, but you're also trying to get the better interest rates. And, eventually, if you're thinking to yourself like, oh, you put this on here on on June 24th, and you're like 25% interest rate, you do the math on your basic attention token, and you say, oh, wow, look how much money I'm going to make in 1 year's time. I can just sit back and totally forget about this for a year. But by the time a year comes, you open the website and you haven't been getting 25% for the whole year. Maybe you got 25% for a week. Maybe you got it for 2 weeks. But for the rest of that year, it was very low, and it was dumping the entire year. So that's kind of the point that I'm trying to get at, is that when you put money on BitConnect and you're like, wow, I'm getting like an average of 10% interest per day, and if I calculate that over a year, this is how much insane amount of money I'm going to get. But the problem is, after a year, you really weren't getting that interest rate. With the case of BitConnect, you could never get your principal out to begin with. This, you definitely can. So it's great that you can farm these yields, and there is money-making potential here. If BAT goes down and another one goes up, you can take your money out, turn it to a different cryptocurrency, or go borrow it from a different platform and put it on a different platform that's giving you higher interest rate. If you take out interest rate of a low coin and then put it into a high, and then supply it with a high interest rate, you can be making money. But again, it's a very slow process. It sounds like you can make a lot of money very quickly, but it's honestly a rather slow process, and you're not going to get 25% APR for a year. So if you have 100 coins on there and at 25% APR, so the whole year, with compounding, you might end up with 125 plus tokens. But the problem is, again, it's not going to be 25% for the whole year, and I think it's going to go down over time. The more and more people that are putting it on here, the less people that are going to be wanting to borrow these ridiculous APYs for borrowing. Are not, and everybody wants to supply, but nobody's going to want to borrow. The problem I see with this is that, why do I need to borrow these coins? What am I going to do with my BAT? Like, let's say I'm desperate for BAT. Why wouldn't I just put my money on an exchange and buy BAT and start trading it back and forth, or even use margin trading? Why is it so important that I get a gigantic loan in BAT tokens? What am I going to spend them on? I could see going to the bank and getting a loan to buy a house, to buy a car, to pay off some bills, to go on vacation, something like that, right? And then you pay it back because you got a value out of it. You got a house, you got a car. But right now, quite frankly, we all know that a lot of cryptocurrencies, you don't have a way to spend them. Now, BTC in particular, you do. There's a lot of ways that you can spend your BTC on just about anything. But a lot of these coins, not really. So where is the demand here? So all I'm seeing right now is people desperately trying to put their supply on here and borrow and swap back and forth just to make money. And that's it. That's sort of been a cryptocurrency problem for a while now. People are just all the transactions and volume rate of most cryptocurrencies are not really actually buying anything. There's not a lot of people going to a bar and spending their BTC. There are some, of course, there's a lot of people spending cryptocurrency, don't get me wrong, but most of that volume is people sending and coming from exchanges, or exchanges sending it around and then just trading it back and forth to simply make more fiat money, to simply trade and then get your money out. And so again, where is the demand for people to truly borrow basic attention token at 33%? Again, that's not a sustainable practice And it is a decentralized finance, so there is no exit scam. I'm not calling it a scam, but where is the demand? And when there is no demand, these interest rates are going to dump. They're extremely popular right now because you're making so much, because they're offering so much to get that supply. So the DeFi ecosystem is being close to 1.5 billion now, whereas Bitcoin allowed individuals to make transaction without the need of an intermediary. The Ethereum blockchain added another layer of programmability with the use of smart contracts, and DeFi is one of those smart contracts. Recently, DeFi Pulse announced that Compound was the largest DeFi protocol because of a multitude of traders are migrating to Compound to farm comp. So again, by either borrowing or supplying, you're also getting comp tokens as well, because about 2,800, I think it says somewhere in the article here, the exact number, 2,880 Compound tokens are released per day. And that's to everybody on the platform. So it's just like mining, where there's only 6.25 BTC to go out per block. So it doesn't matter how many people are in the world are mining, it has to go out to however many people are mining. So it's split up. So the more money you put onto the platform, the more money you supply, or the more that you borrow, the more tokens you're going to get. And they are worth quite a bit. I mean, they're $243 right now. They were 301 or more. And at one point they were 66. So if you got in and you bought a lot of these tokens, and you could buy these on exchanges as well, so you don't actually just have to supply your money to, supply your coin or borrow coin to get it. You can just straight up go to an exchange and buy it. And if you did, congratulations to you, because it's worth way more, and it was worth way more in a matter of days. So it expanded insanely quickly. And we all know with the crypto world, when we see these incredible gains, there's going to be incredible losses at some point. And I'm just bracing anybody watching this that is getting into it, that it's not as easy as you think. You have to go through a lot, kind of a pain. You have to get the Coinbase wallet, and not the Coinbase app on your phone, the Coinbase wallet, which actually requires you to have Ethereum in it. So not only if I want to send basic attention token to this platform, I have to have Ethereum in my wallet as well and spend those Ethereum fees, which are usually only 20 or 30 cents. But that's every time I make a transaction to this or from this. I need to have Ethereum for the gas. So it's not just like the Coinbase wallet, where you could just move your coin back and forth for pretty much free to Coinbase Pro or to GDAX, just Coinbase itself. So remember that there are going to be fees for that. You're going to have a little bit of Ethereum. And quite frankly, the Coinbase wallet it's easy, but it's sort of a pain. And to get BAT tokens is easier said than done as well. Because if you go onto, like, let's say Coinbase Pro, it only trades under Ethereum to BAT or BAT to USDC. So you'd have to trade Ethereum. So what you basically have to do is get Ethereum, then trade Ethereum to BAT, and then back and forth. So it's just sort of a pain. It's not as easy as you think, or you just have to put it on Coinbase and transfer it to another currency. Like, so if you have a Bitcoin or Ethereum, you have to transfer that to BAT, then transfer some Ethereum to your wallet, and then the BAT, which costed you money to actually transfer it to. It's not free to swap Ethereum to BAT. So there are costs involved in putting your coin on this, but you're getting 13% API, which is dumping as pretty much as we speak every day, and you get the tokens as well. So yield farming, it's not a brand new concept, but it's received a lot of attention this year. So again, you're farming the compound and you're farming the interest rate. And that's basically what it is. You can go to different platforms and find better interest rates, etc. So you're farming the interest rates and you're farming the platform tokens like synthetics and compound. So Compound's reward system has attracted the likes of many traders. Compound, for the next 4 years, will be rewarding a balanced allocation of its comp tokens, of which 2,880 are distributed daily. But don't hope that you're going to get too many of them daily. You're not even going to get one whole one daily, unless you probably have like a lot of money on the Compound in the compound smart contract. The attractiveness of the reward system has caught the eye of traders who move their assets into compound and start yield farming comp distributions. Other support projects like InstaDApp are helping comp farming with its widget called Maximize Comp Mining to enable users to get into this with just a click. And there's also Synthetics as well, and some other ones. So that's basically yield farming in a nutshell. This wasn't really necessarily a tutorial. It was sort of more of a, hey, this is pretty cool. DeFi is awesome, but don't believe all of the hype exactly. These interest rates are not going to last forever. I mean, after all, this is basic attention token. What do you use basic attention? What do you use basic attention token for? Other than trading, other than getting it by using Brave browser or being a creator like myself and sometimes being donated it. But for the most part, when you receive BAT, you just turn it into Bitcoin or something like that, or you just straight up sell it. Again, where is the demand for these coins? What are you using them for? Now, USD coin and even Tether to some degree, you can trade to buy anything, so that's kind of cool. But if you guys get my drift of what I'm saying here, there's an inherent problem of where is the actual demand aside from making money. And to make money, everybody's going to be supplying, and you can see that the borrow rate is absolutely through the roof in order to supply the absolute through the roof APY. And with more and more and more people getting into this, just believe me, go to cryptocurrency Reddit and look at how many tutorials. I think that I counted like 3 or 4 last time I looked at it on the front page alone, not even counting all of the YouTubers that are pumping out DeFi yield farming videos. They're going to get a lot of people in on this, and that's not a bad thing. But in the same way that all the YouTubers, including myself, got everybody into mining and things like that, and that just drove profits down. And of course, the crash of December 2017 and the fall of BitConnect, it really messed everything up. So it wasn't just that, but where there isn't demand for Zcash and everybody is mining it because it was easily one of the best currencies to mine in 2017 for like NVIDIA card users particularly. But what did you do with your Zcash? Well, I know that I just essentially auto-exchanged it on Mining Pool Hub, etc., to just automatically go into Litecoin or Bitcoin. I think it was Litecoin at the time because it had much lower fees. So people just immediately selling it. So again, when there's not a lot of actual demand for the coin, it's just going to go down in value. And I think too many people getting in on this is just going to lower your interest rate. So again, if you got in on this a few days ago, you're like, wow, 27% interest rate. I'm going to get my BAT on this right now. And come to find out, and then you do a calculation, over a whole year, I'm going to make such and such money. But in reality, just a few days later, it's already down to 13%. Is it going to go lower? Maybe tomorrow it goes right back up to 27. I really don't know. Maybe by the time you watch this video, you look at it and you go, well, that guy was wrong on that. It just went right back up. But again, I don't think it's going to last forever. But long live DeFi, as I think it's a great idea. And I think it's really challenging the banking system. I think this is a big leap forward for cryptocurrency. So I'm not entirely bashing it. It is just this probably isn't going to last forever. If 27% interest rate sounds too good to be true, well, it just might be. But that's all I have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as usual, I'll see you guys next time.